Hello there, good morning. It's a Monday. Welcome to Breakfast Central on News Central, the start of a new week. Yes, indeed, the 15th
Good morning to you. Always a pleasure to know you're with us. How was your weekend?
Great. It was packed, to say the least. Work,
Really?
reading, news, it never stops then. Lots of, what can I say? Massage.
How is the leg, by the way?
Yeah, it's getting better. Foot massage, to get it.
No,
yeah.
I'll give you one after the show.
Okay. What a way to start the week.
Yes,
start the
indeed.
show. Well, good morning. It's Breakfast Central once again. Olisa and Felicity right here with you on the program. Join us as we get into conversations and let us know where you are watching from, wherever you are in the continent of Africa. Use the hashtag #NCBreakfastCentral and follow us at News Central TV and head to our website www.newscentral.africa for more. You can also download the News Central TV mobile app. Just head to your Play Store or iOS.
First few stories to keep you up to date with what you may have missed over the weekend. Then we have the morning tea and we get into our impact conversation. Now, today our focus is on the increase of the price of petrol. Allegedly, a template was set out by the Price Regulatory Commission agency in Nigeria. There's a controversy around that. We'll be taking a look at it.
All that and more on the program. But let's start off with some news. You may have missed. We begin in West Africa, where troops of the Nigerian army have foiled another attempt to abduct students at the government science secondary school in a local government area in the northwestern state of Kaduna.
The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs in the state, Samuel Arwan, said the bandits invaded the school in the late hours of Saturday and attempted to abduct the students before the arrival of soldiers who engaged them in a gun battle. Now, Arwan said the students used the security warning system in place and were able to alert security forces in the area. He also said no student was missing after head counts which followed the foiled kidnap attempt.
Now, the commissioner said that the Nigerian Air Force also failed another attack on the senior staff quarters of the international airport in the state. Let's hear from him. All right, so moving on from that story, but this time going straight to East Africa, where in Kenya, we've heard of withdrawn from the international boundary dispute case with Somalia in protest of what it described as perceived bias and unwillingness of the courts to accommodate requests as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Kenya's Attorney General, that's Kihara Akaruiki, announced the country's decision to withdraw from the case before the International Court of Justice, which was scheduled to begin today, March 15th.
In a letter to the ICJ, Kariki said the COVID-19 pandemic means that Kenya has not been able to prepare adequately. The dispute between Kenya and Somalia is over which direction the two countries' border extends into the Indian Ocean. We head to the Central African Republic, where voters there have gone to the polls for a second round of legislative elections after December's first round was disrupted by rebel groups controlling about 2/3 of the country. Now, the elections were held in 118 out of the Central African Republic's 140 constituencies after voting was not possible in 69.
Yeah, but a second round was held in 49 constituencies after no candidate secured an outright majority. Now, UN peacekeepers in the country say their forces are also better positioned to help secure the elections in the Central African Republic. There'll be more on that story much later. Yeah, on the news bulletin.
The buzz is what we want to talk about now, the big deal last night.
Was it last night or early this morning? Which is it?
It depends on what part of the world you are.
Yeah, all right. So we go straight to big wins for African musicians and Nigerian music stars like Wizkid and Burna Boy. They've emerged winners of the 2021 Grammy Awards, likes of Burna Boy's. His album Twice As Tall album fetched him the Best Global Music Album category, while Wizkid won his first ever Grammy Award for his role in Brown Skin Girl. With Beyonce. Well, there was more still to come, right?
Yes, indeed. Coldplay's 2019 effort, Everyday Life, got record parking and Album of the Year nods, and it featured Nigerian artist Tiwa Savage, Femi Kuti, and his son Amade Kuti, who we had on the show just last week. Now, Brown Skin Girl was nominated for the category alongside Life is Good, sung by Future, featuring Drake, Lockdown by Anderson .Paak, Adore You by Harry Styles, and Goliath by Wizkid. Beyonce also set a new record at the Grammy Awards with her 28th win and is now the most awarded woman in Grammy's history, overtaking bluegrass singer Alison Krauss.
Well, likes of Taylor Swift also made history by becoming the first female artist to ever win Album of the Year 3 times. Now, this year's edition of the awards was earlier scheduled to hold in January, but was postponed due to coronavirus, and it was more like a virtual thingy. It was done. A great performance, you have to say, from Burna Boy. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, before we bring in Corey, I watched all the reactions and I saw the mother to Burna Boy. She says it's a good Mother's Day present, the best for her. So let's bring in
our entertainment editor, Corey Brown. So, Corey, good morning to you. I'm sure sleepless nights, you have to say, following all that Grammy Award, but what a win for Africa, and indeed the Africa giant himself, Burna Boy.
Good morning, Olisa. Good morning, Felicity.
Morning.
Yesterday, it was a great win. And sleepless nights, we must say. It's been far too long, and it's time. I mean, it's time for the accolades to start rolling in. And this is really big. This is really, really big for Africa, for Nigeria, and for Africa in general.
We saw a whole lot of reaction from the Burna Boy camp, and then we had that of Wizkid. I mean, a lot of persons would say, compared to the way Burna Boy was celebrating, Wizkid looked a bit low-key. And of course, there is the thing about their fans, some going after Davido and all of that. Is that really necessary, considering, you know, it's a feat that they have accomplished?
Well, we can't take away the theatrics from the Nigerian entertainment industry. The fan base, these three people have huge fan base, and they've been going head to head for many months. Now, with the Grammy win, there's a lot of reaction from people saying, "Oh, this is not a big deal." Here's the fact. Burna Boy has won a Grammy officially. It's about time to give him that respect. Nobody else has done it. It's simple as that. For every other win, I'm not trying to condemn every other win. I'm just trying to let everybody know that this particular win is what every artist dreams about.
Yeah, but
and we have to give it to him.
As much as it's a big deal, there is still some controversy around the Grammys. Some artists have alleged marginalization. Some have said the process of selection is skewed. Last year, we know the same prize he won now was taken by Kijo. What do you make of all of that?
We need to come to terms with the international standard. We need to come to terms with the standard that the Academy has put in place for such albums to be nominated. At the time, Burna's album wasn't credible enough. Last year, it wasn't for what they wanted. Our own consumables are different from the international standard. The kind of songs we tend to listen to back home in the pubs, in the local community, is different from what they want to hear.
Somebody will argue with you there.
All right, Corey. Just stay on. Let's take this reaction from Burna Boy when he got the award. Let's take this quick reaction from him, what he said after winning the award.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Corey, how about that? You know, for a rallying call for Africa from the African giant himself, Corey.
Yeah, that's Burna Boy. Pretty much excited, and I wouldn't expect anything.
I must say his joy is very infectious.
Not getting.
All right, thank you very much, Corey Brown, our entertainment editor. I'm sure there'll be more from you and the entertainment team much later today on the program, and also on News Central regarding this big win for Africa and indeed for Nigeria when it comes to the Grammys. Thank you very much, Corey Brown, our entertainment editor. All right, so there you have it.
I mean,
reaction from Burna Boy.
I watched it over and over again. It was fun to watch. I mean, and congratulations to both of them again, Wizkid and Burna Boy.
All right, we move straight up. It's all about Breakfast Central. Yes, you can grab your cup as right about now. It's time for the morning tea. Let's look at what we have. Where are we starting from? Charity, right? Begins at home, right?
Oh,
Nigeria.
yes. I think we should start with the Punch newspaper this morning. They have this big screamer. Petrol subsidy to gulp 102.96 billion naira in March. So when you see the screamer like that, you're like, oh my gosh.
The pump price doesn't reflect market forces. Petrol being subsidized according to NNPC, and the LCCI says private sector won't invest in oil sector if subsidy continues.
Well, I mean, we must take this headline with a pinch of salt, to be honest, because it's from that same the disputed template, which we'll be talking with our guest a little later. It's a prediction from the PPPRA template. It means that if the price is being subsidized, this is the money that's being paid.
All right, let's move over. So talking about fuel price hikes, and we're going to Kenya with the Daily Nation. They're also talking about fuel increase in the country. So let's go straight to the Daily Nation in Kenya. It says new fuel prices shock Kenyans. Wow. This month's increase is one of the highest in 10 years since the 2011 review.
Families, stressful families indeed for that one. Even in the face of pandemic, you're having this kind of increase. Okay,
so there you have it on the front page of the Nation. Let's go straight to the Daily Monitor, shall we?
Yes, indeed. Bobby Wine's party rigged election. That's Museveni speaking. And the paper put something there in blue. If you look closely, you will see it. It says pointing fingers. Now, the winner is pointing finger at Bobby Wine, who had gone to court and then retrieved his petition. It's just a mess over there. There's another one. AG queries 900 billion used for roads, and the DGF ban cripples NGOs. That would be an interesting read if you have the time.
Yeah, but
it's on page 7.
But that's an interesting front page picture there, you know, of Uganda starts testing maize for aflatoxins. Quite an interesting one.
I was intrigued about this. To be honest, I mean, this is national TV. I've never heard the word before, and I checked. I found it's a cancer causing kind of fungi infection that affects maize. So it's imperative that they treat it immediately. Or you have more people having a liver disease.
All right, let me look at the aflatoxins.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'll do my research on it again. Okay, let's finally wrap up with the Sowetan in the southern part of Africa. That's South Africa. We go straight to the final paper we're taking on the this morning. It says the pain of the African child. National shutdown adversities. Students' formations threaten closure of universities to demand funding for students and readmission of those excluded because of what they earn. More on that on page 4, 5, and 6 of the front page of the Sowetan.
I don't know why we still grapple with education and funding in this part of the world.
All right, so there you have it on the front pages this morning. Yes, quite...
Before we slip off, I think we should look at this one.
Which one?
The long, dangerous daily walk to school. You can see a student captured on the front page there. So while the eyes of the nation are mainly focused on the students' struggle at varsities to secure the rights to education, their little brothers and sisters in the Mpumalanga town face a daily struggle to get to a classroom. Yeah, still on the front page of the Sowetan. So they've gone quite very educational this morning. Long, dangerous daily walk to school. And they've also gone with the pain of the African child. Wow, all right, so quite an editorial. Right then, we'll take a breather this morning because we do need it. It's been quite a packed one, especially already.
And when we come back, it'll be time for our impact, all about the controversy in terms of petrol in Nigeria. Stay with us.
Good to know you're still with us. We now kick off our very fast, political sort of conversation, economic conversation, impact conversation, indeed.
It impacts you and me.
Now, following a template released by the Nigeria Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency, that's PPPRA, predicting an increase in the pump price of petrol to 212 naira 68 kobo per litre. Long queues started cropping up at filling stations as Nigerians panic bought. Now, the reaction was despite assurances from the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Silva, and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, that pump price remained unchanged.
Well, now it seems that the PPPRA has issued what many believe is a retraction or has walked back on the prediction. Now, the agency says it does not fix or announce prices, but previous templates released have formed the basis of fuel price adjustments, if you want to call it that, in the country, which we see quite very often, you have to say. We'll be joined later by our guest, who is the Independent Marketers Association chairman. But Felicity, let's really look at this. And we talked about it on Friday because...
Yes, that was because I was taken aback by the queues at the filling station, because if you go by what we saw, everybody worried. And even the explanation that's given by the Minister of State for Petroleum doesn't quite, cover everything. There is an ongoing conversation with Labour to make sure that the price that will be agreed on will not cripple Nigerians. I mean, we got 30,000 naira minimum wage. Does not mean we have all the money in the world. But the reality is that something is skewed.
Something is skewed.
This body has been in the forefront of regulating prices. They don't announce price per se, but they provide projections based on market forces, which is what they did. What they did is in line with what they've been doing. So you would expect that kind of reaction from Nigerians. However, the thing that seems to be bothering a lot of people is, do we have the guests now?
Not sure we have our guests, but looking at the story, because we actually broke it on Friday morning, which was one of the first things we talked about the 220, is it 212 for the new price increase? But then, can we really call this a retraction now?
It is not. In my thinking, it's not. I'm hoping that we can get the IPMAN chairman to join this conversation and explain a little further, because if you look at what we have at the moment, marketers, the complaint that the minister had, that's Minister for State for Petroleum, is that marketers are capitalizing on a supposed increase that has not been actualized. The government insists that there is a conversation ongoing, so no price has been determined, and it is not the job of the PPPRA to fix prices, which is something they have explained.
And this really begs the question then, where the panic came from, or can we say we cannot blame us for the panic, because there were queues, long queues followed, people were trying to get, panic buying to get fuel, and just like we said on Friday, lots of papers ran with the headline, fuel price increase, bang, there you have it. Are you saying, okay, perhaps maybe on the media parts, maybe we can do better, or...
It depends. Like I always tell people, don't go with the headline. Always make an effort to read, even if it's the rider that comes with the headline, so you get a better perspective of what they're trying to say. But we'll continue with the conversation, hopefully with a guest with us. But for now, let's look at this.
The law of economics states that low supply and high demand leads to increase in price. This is the current situation of petroleum in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians have expressed concern concerning the recent increase in petroleum. This is what some of them had to say.
I heard it yesterday from news by myself. Say they want to put money for the fuel, but later in the letter I will hear that it's not.
In some filling station, it's like around 168, some 165, some 166 or something. So and no particular price for the whole thing. Individually, they have their prices.
The pump price of petrol in Nigeria has consistently maintained an upward trend, usually resulting in face-offs between Labour and the federal government. The consequences of price hikes are long queues, traffic jams, and increase in the cost of transportation. We visited some of the petrol stations, and some motorists expressed their concerns about the speculated increase in fuel price.
Well, we heard that the price is 212. Some stations are already selling 210, But I'm here at NAPC too, but I don't know the price they say at the moment until it gets to my turn, But 212 is It's outrageous.
I can't do anything about it right now. Since they took their hands off of fuel controlling fuel prices, it's for anybody to change and do what they want. So what can we do? We can only complain, but there's no solidarity in the country. So what can we do?
The pain of this commercial motorcyclist is evident. He has no other livelihood, and another price increase will affect him badly.
I must buy how I can do. You know, say that if you never buy, how you can control that the mileage you are fitting for yourself, so that your business can stop. Because of that, you must buy as they are selling.
The managers of the various filling stations we visited refused to speak to us as regards the current situation because, according to them, this is against the station's policy. A mix-up in information flow by the Petrol Pricing Regulatory Agency resulted in panic buying by Nigerians. The Minister of State for Petroleum insists that the pump price remains unchanged, with a warning of dire consequences for marketers seeking to take advantage of this situation to extort Nigerians.
It's way past midday, and as you can see, I am standing right here in one of the petroleum stations right here in Lagos, Nigeria. The queue is not as much as it was in the morning, meaning that the federal government or petroleum marketers have not increased the fuel price as speculated. This is actually good news for Nigerians, and we hope it remains so. News Central, Chidima Ihanitu.
Despite the announcement
for that crisp reporting on the
obvious that Lagos residents are not willing to believe the federal government. Early in the morning, the petrol queues are back in some parts of the city, with many motorists eager to fill up their tanks. At this station, the queues were moving quite fast and the pump price of petrol remained the same. The fuel pump attendants refused to speak to us, saying they had been instructed not to grant any interviews. But the motorists are quite willing to talk.
How long have you been in the queue today?
Been here since 5 o'clock this morning. 5 o'clock? Yes.
Now, are you aware that the FGS say that there is no price increase in fuel?
No, I don't know. I don't hear about that.
Are you still buying fuel for the same price at this?
I'm buying the same price. I'm buying the fuel in the same price, 162 naira.
Now, at this filling station where there's a long queue, the manager wouldn't even allow us to speak with the motorists or even record videos of the pump price. This is probably the reason.
What I think they do is that they are hoarding the fuel and the panic buying. That is why the traffic, that is why the queue you see like this. And one of the problem I realized that the the filling station attendants are trying to play pranks with our customers, because when I got there, they said their POS is not working, or I can transfer to their account, and they collected 400 naira extra before I can get my fuel.
The mystery even deepens further at this fuel station where the pump price indicator is switched off. The customers obviously aren't aware of what is happening.
The pump price is because all this wahala. So we don't know, but some the filling station people said that the normal price they are selling.
The fuel is 162. So, but people are talking, say it's 212. So I don't know, as I come for the filling station, I see 160, 162.
While some dealers are taking advantage of the pump price increase confusion, hopefully things will normalize soon now that the federal government has made it clear that there would be no fuel price increase just yet. Amal Kinsey, reporting for News Central Television.
All right, so there you have it. Interesting reports from our news desk, Amal Kansimi, and also Chidima Ihanitu giving us that one. So it was a busy one for our news team at the weekend.
Over the weekend, yes, indeed.
Moving from pump price to pump price, from station to station.
No, but the conversation really is bothersome. A lot of Nigerians are worried. It's not just Nigeria, actually. We have a situation in Kenya. One of the headlines we read was from Kenya. Theirs is a definitive increase in price. But here, there seemed to be a whole lot of controversy over the matter.
Because once it starts, we just keep, it just sends this anxiety shockwave through the system, because let me not lie, come on, 212 from 162. They're like, but the federal government is not that harsh. Now they are not wicked. They know that people are suffering.
On the flip side of all of this is the part of labor. There was a strike. My fear is that will they be able to get to a compromise, get to a price that will not negatively impact Nigerians? 162 or 65 is already impacting Nigerians. So any increase whatsoever, it's not going to be welcomed by Nigerians at all. But then again, the conversation around regulation, fuel subsidy. I just wish we were able to get.
It never goes away. All right, so we're joined by News Central's man on the business desk himself, talking about Nasir Agbalaya, who's also been following this story. Nas, good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Central, especially from your, could I call it, short hiatus on the break. And this is how we welcome you with PPPRA matter and subsidy.
So what's your take on the entire fiasco?
Felicity, I didn't get your question there.
I'm just asking, what's your take on all of this, the controversy around the pricing? We're not increasing price, we're increasing price and all of that.
The marketers are basically saying that the cost of bringing in fuel has increased. Well, as at February, they said that the landing cost was $180. So that is what they are saying. But the government has insisted that there would not be any increase. That basically means that the government needs to do some sort of subsidy. I mean, add more money to what the cost is. I don't know how soon or how long they can sustain this, because normally they have been telling us that they don't have money. And really, that's the reality.
Well, what do you know about the conversation between government and Labour? Is there any update as to where they are at? Because the Minister of State for Petroleum is saying that they are still engaging. As of last night, a spokesperson for the NNPC said the same thing.
Yes, dialogue is still ongoing between all parties, and it is believed that there will be some sort of agreement that will ensure that the fuel price may not be increased yet. But on the long run, I don't think they can sustain it for long, practically, because they have to make some payments. And the more payment they make, the more the running cost of this government continues. That is why they said that they are deregulating, so that the market forces will determine how much fuel costs. If you remember some years ago, this same discussion happened with diesel. And right now, government has no subsidy with diesel. And diesel is always available. So this could be done. But there's something which they are not telling Nigerians. Now, there is a refinery in Port Harcourt that ensures that we have more diesel. Diesel is refined in Nigeria. So if we could have active refineries, this problem will be a real thing of the past. I mean,
are you one of those that put a lot of hope in the Dangote refinery?
Yes. Everybody, honestly, 500,000 barrels a day. That will really ease this pressure. But let's not forget that this is a private refinery. And as a businessman, this company is out to make money. So there is no guarantee that this refined product will all be sold in Nigeria. Now, supposing Cameroon wants to buy it at, say, $3,000, I'm just saying hypothetically, say $3,000. It's logical. It is a business. Dangote will want to sell to Cameroon.
All right. Naz.
It's an agreement. Sorry?
Naz, now, when contacted on Sunday night, now the spokesperson for the NNPC confirmed that the pump price of petrol was not reflective of the true market price. Now, this implies that fuel is being subsidized by the corporation. Now, he was quick to say that the engagement is ongoing with the labor union on the price to moderate the impact of Nigerians. Now, some analysts say that this price hike is definitely on the horizon. Now, how optimistic are you that labor perhaps might negotiate a good deal for Nigerians, or do you foresee another hike of this?
A hike will happen. We cannot escape it. But how much hike will happen is the main question. Now, the last price or upgrade that was announced, the upper end was 212. Will it get to that, or will it be around, say, 175 or 180? That is the main thing. It's not possible, it's not feasible economically for there not to be any price hike. That will happen. Like I said, how much hike is the main question.
All right, Nasir, what's your take on the panic buying situation? We've had cases in the past where such hoarding and buying of fuel has caused explosions in people's private home. What advice do you have for Nigerians at this time? Should they really be buying in panic, or should they have some faith that Labour and government will come to a fair deal?
Naz, I'm sure she panicked by it herself. So.
No, really. All I did, I made sure my tank was full. That was necessary. But not like I bought. Where do I keep them?
Naz, go on.
Well, realistically, people who need the commodity will buy. And some people will buy and hoard so that when it increases, at least at the initial, maybe a couple of weeks, they will not feel the impact. But it is still very pertinent to be very, very cautious. It is very, very important. Now, we don't need to panic buy every time. Well, we need to appeal to the conscience of the marketers. They have this commodity, they are hoarding it, causing scarcity. If they can just please sell. I just came back to Lagos, and in Ondo State and some other parts of Nigeria, they're already selling above 162, even before. We
are among our biggest problems, aren't we, rather? Nasir, thank you very much for joining us on Breakfast Central.
What a way, and welcome back from your hiatus, and confirming that they're selling above 160 in those states that you are coming from. Welcome back, Nas, and I'm sure we'll have you much later when it comes to Business Edge with Tolu to break down the impact economically and what it might mean for businesses, and yes, the stocks on the market in Nigeria. Thank you very much again, Nas.
We really are, sometimes can be our own worst enemy.
Yeah. All right.
Let's hope that...
Unfortunately, apologies, we couldn't have our guest today, who's the chairman of the PPPRA, in fact, the Independent Marketers Association, IPMAN, but we'll try to get much later, yes, on the program, also on the news to really get some clarity on these issues. A quick break.
You already saw a glimpse of him. We'll be with Sam in a bit for the latest in entertainment.
All right. Right, and welcome back. Still Breakfast Central on News Central. Don't forget you can join us using the hashtag #NCBreakfastCentral on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Log on to the website, newscentral.africa, and also watch us live on YouTube. Right, then let's talk about some sporting issues. And, like big results, you have to say. And I'm joined now by News Central's, yes, indeed, sports first lady, I love to call her, Onyechi Obaro. Onye, good morning to you.
Good morning, Olisa. Nice to be here once again. And thanks for giving me that title, the First Lady.
Sports First Lady. Okay. All right, let's talk about goals being scored. Big ones for Nigeria yesterday in terms of an African player scoring a hat-trick. Kelechi Iheanacho. What really happened, Onyechi?
Wonderful game to see Iheanacho coming back to the score sheets there. And of course, would say that goal, I would say again, was made in Nigeria by Nigerians too. Okay, now looking at the fact that he had scored 3 consecutive goals in his career, but we look at his range. It was incredible. Great movement, great positioning by Kelechi Iheanacho to give him that goal. A hat-trick coming in from that Nigerian lad. He just needs to run more, work harder, and have that hunger, show more hunger, and I'm very sure that Brendan Rodgers will be so proud of him. Of course, you know that it was a joint connection with Wilfred Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho. And I think he did say in an interview that maybe one day he should be able to replace Jamie Vardy one time. Looking at the hat-trick he had yesterday, sure, I see that a light at the tunnel for Kelechi Iheanacho.
All right, so it was a 5-0 win for Kelechi's team, Leicester City, against Sheffield United. So good hat-trick for him. But let's talk about another game, maybe that concerns my people, Arsenal. Okay, so it was a win for Arsenal, we hear, but our African brother and captain from Gabon, Aubameyang, what happened? We didn't get to see him play the game.
Yes, Aubameyang was left on the bench due to some disciplinary actions from Mikel Arteta, who is his coach. We know for sure that Arteta, in an interview after that game yesterday, thank God, I would say, so thankful that Arsenal, London was painted red, even with his absence. Of course, disciplinary reasons was cited that he has to be on the bench for lateness. Now, Aubameyang was late for that derby, that London derby against Tottenham Hotspur, and Mikel Arteta said that this disciplinary actions should be within internal within the club there. This is not the first time Aubameyang is coming in late for a derby game or even a game for Arsenal. Remember that at the time when the COVID-19 was so much in England, Aubameyang came so late for his COVID-19 test. He had to run around to go get a tattoo, and that really got to the manager's skin. With this now, he has said this is a little bit of punishment for Aubameyang for coming in late, not once, not twice. During the Europa games, he had come in late. Even for that game against Tottenham, it's really a bad thing for Aubameyang. Being the captain of the side, he should lead by example, and that is why the long stick has been given to Aubameyang. Now, to this, Arteta has said he will not take this out beyond what it is, what it looks like right now. He's going to make it an internal thing. He's going to suffer that punishment there. Maybe other players that are willing would come out and maybe take up his position. But I'm saying Aubameyang losing a lot by coming up with this kind of indiscipline. Lateness is not a good thing for a captain who should be leading by example, and also is a vital player for Arsenal. So he should watch his feet there, his steps there, because if any player takes up that role and can fill in so much, I don't think Aubameyang will be celebrated the way he is.
You try well. Thank you very much. No, Aubameyang, no problem. Arsenal still won.
You're going to lose him.
Great goals too from the likes of Lacazette, who was captain on it, and we saw a cheeky one from Eric Lamela. But let's talk about Manchester United, Onye, quickly before we let you go. They also had a victory against West Ham. Not bad for them too.
Yes, I would say not bad for them. Only going to Solskjaer having just one goal there. But let me look at how David Moyes was able to have his formation. Now, David Moyes has tried a 4-3-1, 4-2-3-1 formation. He has tried a 5-4-1 formation, also a 3-4-3 formation. But selecting a back five and a three defensive midfielders was a fluke by David Moyes there. And that was what made him only going to Solskjaer capitalize and was able to get through to David Moyes' side. Now, I'm looking at them there with the likes of Burna and Lanzini sitting on the bench. Moyes did not make a good decision doing that because he just allowed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer play into his hands. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to also try up some technical quality in the final third, because we saw that Greenwood tried to make an attempt on goal, but couldn't just get it because of the goalkeeper from West Ham. But he should try some technical quality to burst the Manchester United squad. But I would say that was just a win-win for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yesterday.
All right. Let's run down some of those results for the viewer. So it was finished likes of Southampton. Yes, had a 2-1 victory. They lost at home. Leicester, just like we talked about, 5-0. Ian Achot there. No Aubameyang, no problem. Arsenal win. And United also win. But tonight, your team, Liverpool, away to Wolverhampton Wanderers. What shall I say? Shall we just keep our fingers crossed, right, for Liverpool?
Oh, Lord, please. We're hoping not to walk alone this time around. We don't want to walk. But looking at it, Wolverhampton Wanderers, the Cinderella team for last season. But we don't want this to be another banana peel for Liverpool. This is where we're playing, and we want to keep this sitting. But we're not even in the top 6. We're still struggling. But Jurgen Klopp has said maybe he can come up with a solution with the fact that we've got Fabinho doing something wonderful there. We saw in the last game that he was so instrumental for Liverpool. Maybe he can come to the party this time around. But we desperately need this win.
All right. That's for sure. I agree with you, Nyechi. You desperately need the win. Liverpool are totally out of it right now, but we'll get to see the likes of Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, African players who'll be doing so well for the team. But Nyechi, Don't worry, don't bother. It will end in premium tears. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you much later. We get your barrel.
We never walk alone. We won't walk alone.
Breakfast Central, what can I say? News Central's First Lady of Sports. Don't worry, Liverpool will end in tears.
No, she won't. I'm here. I have your back, babes. Don't worry. You're going to win. Your club will win.
Thank you very much. We'll catch you much later. Right. Well,
I preempted earlier, so it's now time to talk some more entertainment. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and we've got none other than the Samuel Ojo himself, a.k.a. Sam Dandy. Sam Dandy, finally, he's done it, right? Burna Boy and Wizkid FC.
Whoa, it's just incredible, to be honest. See how African I look. I'm super proud to be African, to be Nigerian. You know, of course, we saw Burna Boy nominated the previous year, 2019. He put out the album, African Giant. And then, of course, he was nominated, but then he lost to Angelique Kidjo. And we all love her. She's African as well. And I remember her speech at that Grammy. And she said, you know what? There are a lot of incredible acts coming out of Africa. And she made reference to Burna Boy. Now, my mind, I was talking to someone, and my mind is like, do you think that played a part in Burna getting, you know, this year's award? But let's not.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now that's super exciting, to be honest. To be honest, like you can feel the excitement. We've not seen Burna this excited about anything before. You know, of course, and congratulations for the global award. Now, the thing is, most people also maybe don't realize that he also performed. He also performed.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. It was a virtual performance, and we do have a clip from it. I think you're going to love this. He performed his song off his new album, of course, off the most recent album, Twice as Tall. He performed Oyeka, he performed Ye, and he performed Level Up. I think you should watch this.
So it was
virtually. It was recorded here in Nigeria.
Okay, because he's still in the country. He didn't travel.
Still in the country.
I still go back to that excitement he displayed after he was announced, and the fact that he spoke his native language to an international
where is the Grammy?
So
where is the Grammy plaque?
So of course he's going to get that, and now I think entire social media is going bonkers over the fact that, you know, in some form, 5 Nigerians won at the Grammy. So let me explain this, right? So of course we know Burna Boy won, of course, the world album, right, for representing, you know, other countries, right? And then we also know Wizkid won an award. Now, not just did he get it, is he going to get a certificate? Wizkid, of course, featured on Beyonce's album, Brown Skin Girl. We all heard that song. We all love it. Everyone knows it, right? So Wizkid, of course, will get an award for that, of course. And I'm talking the fact that that song won Best Music Video. Best Music Video, Wizkid gets that. Now, Coldplay, who we love, you know, I don't know if you know Coldplay there.
Are you kidding me?
Who doesn't know Coldplay?
What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean?
Must have been living under a rock.
What is that supposed to mean?
So their album, Everyday Life, also won an award. And I'm talking, of course, Album of the Year. Now, what happens there is we have Nigerians who featured on that album. We have a song, I don't want to pronounce this word, Antiburks. It's a song that, of course, Made and Femi Kuti worked on. In fact, of course, Femi did play the instrument on that song. And yes, being part of contributing to the album, of course, they get a certificate, not a plaque this time, but they do get a certificate. The law is you have to have contributed over 33%, or at least with 33% on the album to get, you know, the golden plaque. But now, of course, they get a certificate. And not only that, Tiwa Savage also, you know, contributed on that album.
I was going to ask you about that, really, because I saw her name there, and I know she has a lot of following as well.
So she did on a song called Echo. I think it's just great. We just keep celebrating, you know, Nigerian Africans.
So basically, it was a big win for African artists, particularly Nigerian artists. But I think many would say the standout was Burna Boy and perhaps Wizkid, right?
I was asking that question of Corey earlier. Why is it that we don't have so much furore with Wizkid the way we have with Burna Boy?
So people, the conversation is Burna won for himself. People would say that, okay, Wizkid, it's not a song, right? He was featured on this song off an album that is not.
But he gets a plaque.
But he gets a plaque.
Yeah.
So of course, it's. To be honest, I don't like the comparison, but they just deserve it.
For me, it takes absolutely nothing from the phenomenal work that they do.
Yeah.
Wizkid is a legend in his own right.
Exactly.
Burna Boy is a legend in his own right. So let's do away with all the frivolities and just focus on the goodness.
What's incredible is Nigerians have been nominated for the Grammy since 1984, people. 1984, going back to, of course, King Sunny Ade, who was nominated then, of course, to Femi Kuti, who has had about 4 nominations.
Wow.
But now this is the closest he's gotten to winning even a certificate, you know.
Okay.
Now, of course, we know Angelique Kidjo, and she's had like 6 nominations and 4 wins. And it's just incredible because
it's a good one for Africans, though, not just Nigerians. But we're looking to see more Nigerian players in the international field come next year.
All right, and the tweets keep coming on and on. I think last night it was still #1 trend. I don't know where it is this morning.
It's going to be people. Just someone talking to someone. The person said, Burna's price has gone up.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. I saw that tweet. I just started laughing. He's always been expensive. This is not going to change that, really.
All right, I think that's about it, Sam, right?
That's about it.
Okay, so all about Grammys, so celebrations for the African continent, especially for Nigerians, Burna Boy and Wizkid doing big things. And also, yes, Made Kuti and Femi Kuti and Tiwa Savage.
I'm actually looking forward to when Femi Kuti will win a Grammy as well.
I mean,
to be
4
a
nominations.
Nice,
Burna only had 2, like 1 to win, and now he's won. So.
But before we let you go, Sam, what's the figure again for Beyonce right now? We heard she's smashing another record last night in terms of Grammys.
Ooh, funny thing, I was just focused on Africa. I'm like, leave Beyonce out of this.
She's big, she's
Africa
made.
First. Africa
She's had over 70 nominations throughout the Grammys.
Yeah, I think she's the most Grammy awarded artist right now.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
She is.
Well, that's the package.
Yes, we've been told time is up. The conversation is sweet, but we got to go.
Thank you very much, Sam, and thank you very much for sticking with us on Breakfast Central. Felicity, yes, back again. Good job. All right, we have to go. We have a long week ahead of us, so stick with us right here at Breakfast Central every weekday, same time, 8 a.m. We'll be here again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Oh, okay. I think